following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys!
Let's go, baby.
Are you ready for a break?
Yes.
Are you ready for a break?
Absolutely.
Ready for a break?
Yeah, and so much for that.
It's time for The Break on DallasCowboys.com.
We were on the break.
With Nick Eatman, David Hellman, Ambar Garcia, and Derek Eagleton.
It is Tuesday, October 19th, 2021, Season 17, Episode number 44. Welcome to the latest edition of The Break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. And I'm blessed today to have some
The dreadheads is here.
Yeah, I was thinking two dreads and a ball fade, but right now we also have the lovely Amber Garcia joining us. But we're gonna have some fun here these next 2 days. If you guys haven't noticed, we're mixing things up for the bye week as we normally do. I got my man Isaiah with me. Isaiah, stand back.
See. Everybody makes that mistake.
Why do you do that?
See, I even cut my dreads. You
just pointed.
No, I wasn't pointing. I was just talking in general. I wasn't. That was not a.
You literally said my man Isaiah. Then you said with Isaiah.
You see, I was following the hand.
You said
I was
Isaiah.
following the hand.
Didn't he say that?
Isaiah, stand back.
There it is.
Jesse Holly.
Thank you.
Of two other shows. We're not going to mention those shows. We'll talk about that. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Tomorrow, before we end the show, I'm going to give both of y'all. So y'all get ready. I'm going to give you like 2 minutes apiece to sell your show. I'm going to give you a chance. I'm going to give you a chance to be able to let all the people that listen to The Break normally, which is, we got a really big audience. So this is great marketing for you guys. So what I'm going to let you do, I'm going to give you a second to be able to just talk about your show and let people know why maybe they should come out and check you out.
Like you coat shirt tie and all that kind of stuff now. But where you from? Like
Crosby, Texas.
Right.
Small town.
Right?
Crosby.
We all come
actually,
from
Barrett Station is the actual name. That's where the brothers live.
Right.
Barrett Station.
So we're going to say Barrett Station.
Barrett Station.
Right? So we've all known some brothers from the streets.
Yeah.
Ain't no brother from the street ever had to advertise their stuff.
Ooh.
I don't.
Well,
you don't have to. You give it to the right person.
They advertise it for you?
They taste it. The streets start talking.
Okay, but yeah. So here's what I'm. That's what I'm gonna let you do.
The streets already talking about hanging with the boys.
Not enough. Not over here in this break neighborhood. They're not talking about hanging with the boys. So I'm gonna give you a chance to get your testers out, and then we see what happens. Right?
Call it whatever you want. Just don't call it blue magic.
Well, welcome to the show. We got a lot we're going to talk about. What I'm going to do over the next 2 days is we're going to really go big picture. We got a lot of questions I'm going to throw at you guys, just big picture. Give you guys an opportunity to talk about what you think of this team through 6 games. Obviously, it's been very exciting here, probably more exciting than anything we've seen in quite a while around here. So I'm going to start first. I want to go back a little bit to the New England game. There were a few questions I had from that game, and I wanted to start talking to you guys about. Let's start first with what things do you think Belichick exposed that Dallas will have to see over the next few weeks? Because as we know in the NFL, it is a copycat league. You show teams what can possibly be a kryptonite for a team, they're going to try to do the same thing. So what are some of the things you think Belichick may have shown this last week?
Big boy ball. The ability to simply just, I'm bigger and I'm stronger than you, and I'm coming at you downhill every single play. You saw that with New England's first drive. I mentioned it yesterday on yesterday's show. They went 13 personnel for the entire first drive. They went 13 personnel for the whole first drive. 3 tight ends. I don't care. We're using all 5 linemen, all 3 tight ends, and we're coming downhill. Good luck trying to stop us. And we struggle with that. Now, obviously, we have some of our key pieces that are missing in terms of form of Gallimore, D-Law. We'll get Tristan Hill back, some of those guys. But that's a problem. If we face an opponent that has the personnel to and that's something that we give up by having a fast defense. When you have a fast defense, just like when we played against Carolina, they had a fast defense that could run and hit you. But what do? We just said, okay, we're bigger and faster. We're bigger and stronger than you. We're just going to run the ball down your throat. So when you choose to have a defense like we have now that's so versatile, that's so fast, that has those various personnels, we're going to give up something. And I think we're giving up size and strength in that regard.
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the head. Is for a long time, the Cowboys have been weak in the middle of their defense, up front. And I said earlier last week coming into that show that this game will be won or lost at the line of scrimmage. That Bill Belichick and company wanted to control that line of scrimmage, being that they will be physical on their side offensively and then defensively being able to create some confusion, some pressure, really attack the middle of our offensive line. And for the Cowboys, they really have to kind of, if they want something to work on to kind of be the quote-unquote complete team, it's trying to find ways, okay, we know that we're fast, we know that we're physical, we know that we have dynamic playmakers on our defense, but how can we shore up that middle? Now, when you talk about the team that we have coming down the stretch, next up being Minnesota, we know what Minnesota will try to do to us. They will try to do what the New England Patriots did to us. And Dalvin Cook has been a thorn in our side, both running the football and catching the football. But a lot of teams don't have the ability to do what the Patriots do. A lot of teams don't have the ability to do what Minnesota will try to do with Dalvin Cook. So in contrast to that is teams will either have to continue to play their style of football and hope that it works,
or adapt,
or try to go another way, because most teams can't do what the Patriots do. You don't have the personnel and you don't have the brain power, and that is key. So it's easy to say it's a copycat league, but it's hard to copycat when you don't got the cats to copy it.
But let me ask you this. Did you think that this last game was an aberration when it comes to the running game and not being able to stop the running game? Or had you seen shades of this in other games? Maybe other teams didn't do it to the level that the Patriots did it, but did you see moments where you were like, this could be a problem going down the stretch?
I mean, I think there's pieces that we obviously need to shore up on the defensive front, but overall, we've had some really good play out of our defensive front. You got some guys like Osa, Basham, some guys that are really starting to show up and play. But at the end of the day, it comes down to personnel matchups, and that's why I hate when people say, "Oh, well, this team, you beat this team, but you couldn't beat this team." Like, it's all about matchups. It's all about matchups. Just there might be some big boys across the way that you just can't handle. These are grown men that get paid. I'm sorry, Cowboys Nation. These boys get paid too, right? And that's one thing that they invest in. They invest in big guys up front and dominant downhill, because at the end of the day, Coach Belichick wants you to have a tight game where he can just smash mouth football. That's it. If he could run the ball 80 times a game, he would do it.
And the thing that we have going to our advantage to help our defense, and this is why I was all for Mike McCarthy going for it early in the football game. Because
I was too, actually.
I was so for it. I was so for it, one, because I want to set a tone, and two, the thing that the Cowboys can do well that other teams can't do is that we can score at
fast.
will.
Yeah.
And when you score early and often, teams now have to play outside of their realm. Mm-hmm. And if we gifted them 14 points, which made us have to kind of play a little bit differently, and they were able to kind of stick to the script of what they wanted to do. But when you come out early and teams already know, they cut the film on, and they like, you got Zeke, you got Tony, you got Schultz, you got Jarwin, you got CD, Amar. You can't stop all these dudes. So once you go up 14, all that running the football and trying to eat up possessions and eat up clock, that goes out the door. And now you have to play a game that we want you to play, and it has kind of worked in our favor because Trayvon Diggs is just sitting back there saying, all right, you guys may get me for 1 or 2 quarters, and I may give up a couple plays here and there, but you throw another one, I'm going to get it. And so that's the Cowboys have had that advantage all year long, is with those weapons offensively. Teams haven't been able to do what they want to do in the running game, to our defense, because you just got to score with us. Yeah. And Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels, they came out with a great plan that said, you know what, today you will play our game. And the Cowboys did, for most of the game, have to play that game. And then it just came down to, we got one too many horses. Yeah. And
so to Derek's point, do you think that these guys just open up a wound that was already there? Or do you think that because of the game plans or because of how we've been ahead of most games, we haven't necessarily had to encounter the running so much?
Yeah, a lot of people, you can try.
Yeah.
People always say what Mike Tyson always says, everybody got a game plan until you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can come out and try it if you want to, but when you're down 14 points,
for sure.
and number 4 and company walking back out on the field again, you start saying, all right, now we got to match them point for point.
Yeah.
The way I see it is like, there are a lot of things that need to be cleaned up. in the Cowboys' play on defense and also on offense. All the penalties we talked about yesterday. But I think that this game and the way that it played out, it actually showcased something very positive that the Cowboys have in our building. And it's to show opponents that this is not the same team that was years ago and even last year, that, when mistakes happen, it just goes downhill and they can't really catch up. No, this is a team that's actually fighting and going out there and building this chemistry of, there's no laziness. Even on the defensive side of the ball, you can see little things that happen that are not good and need improvement, but at the same time, you're seeing a defense that is energized and go out there with fire and is fighting back. So I think that's something that the fact that they won that game the way that they did in overtime against Bill Belichick is actually going to show other teams down the road that this is not a Cowboys team to really mess around or sleep on. This is someone that whatever you do, they're going to come back and keep fighting for it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think, and I would say this, when you get to a point like that where you have a team that handles adversity well, I put that on coaching and I put that on confidence. And I think this team has a lot of both. Now, you can say what you want to say about Mike McCarthy, but whether it's Mike McCarthy or whether it's the offensive or the defensive coordinator, they're figuring out ways, even when they get in a game like that where things aren't going their way, to figure out how they can make the adjustments they need to make in order to get themselves back into the game and ultimately win it. And that's the sign of a really good team. Let's talk about Dak Prescott for a second. We know that he got hurt there on that last play of the game. Really great play, obviously, to win the game. I was happy with the fact that they were just being aggressive and didn't just think, hey, we're in our kicker's range, which we've heard so much this year. Don't do that. If you got a chance, your best shot is to let Ford do his thing, and that's what they did. He got the touchdown, but he gets the calf injury. How concerned are you guys about this calf injury? I know they have the bye week, but that's 2 weeks is still not a long time to recover from an injury. How concerned are you?
I'm very concerned.
Should be.
And I get it. There's talk throughout the building about it's not that bad. Initially everybody said, it's not Michael Gallup, right? Everyone was, it's not Michael Gallup, right? Everybody wants to say that. It's not Michael Gallup.
Well, I'm glad they said that, too, because it's been a while. Yeah.
My thing is, it's the right calf. The same calf, same leg of the ankle surgery. Now, I'm no doctor, no trainer. I don't have a PhD. I went to a public university. Barely got out of there. But when you talk about that particular play, right? Dak Prescott rolling out to his right, delivering the ball down the field. What happens when we got to do that against Minnesota? What happens when you have to do that against Atlanta? Does that now hinder his ability to do those things? His ability to be mobile in the pocket? His ability to take off and run when it's time to take off and run? It may not be an issue now. Maybe it's an issue 2 weeks from now. Maybe it's an issue 3 weeks from now. Pushing off on that leg. And Isaiah, I'll let you speak more to this because you have more of history playing at that position. But everything is so critical from the quarterback's position about balance, about having the right base to deliver the ball accurately down the football field. So if your base is off and everything that we want to do in this offense, we can't do it, now to me that worries me some. And I think you can say that, we have nothing to worry about because this week we actually have nothing to worry about. We had no game. But I just think it's a little bit deeper than just we don't have anything to worry about.
Well, I say this first. We don't know how bad it is. Well, I don't think we'll ever find out, really, how bad it is. They'll get an MRI. They have, luckily, he has the best training staff in the league. Trust me, I've tested most of them out. He has an amazing staff, and he has all the resources he needs. With that said, back during what Jesse said, we've had two guys out with calf strains. Gallup this year, we haven't seen him since week 1. We're going into week 6, the 6th week, right? Bye week. Okay, so we haven't seen Gallup since he had his calf strain. Zach Martin last year, calf strain. Okay, he was out, obviously, for a minute. At the quarterback position, yes, it was his injured ankle, but just taking the ankle out of it, as a quarterback, you're dropping back. You're pushing off your left leg as a right-handed quarterback. You're pushing off your left leg, and you're setting your base with your right leg. right? So that's the leg that he has to set. Now, obviously, the ankle's fine. We can set on an ankle. But now with the calf, think about that, right? That is literally absorbing all your energy from dropping back. Now that you've absorbed that energy, if you set on that back leg, now you're asking him to drive off of that back leg and push and throw the ball. Okay, now people can say, oh, he doesn't have to push. He's strong enough arm. All right, but now that comes into matter. What did he do in camp?
Shoulder and arm.
The shoulder pec, whatever they called it, right? So if he's not pushing off his leg and he's using his upper body more to create the velocity, now he's putting that at risk. So it's not even just one thing here. It's not just the calf. The calf, he'll be okay. We don't know how bad it is. It might be something he needs a week off of, or he might need multiple weeks. But even if he is allowed to play, it plays a role because now it puts his shoulder at risk for potentially injuring that simply because he's going to be trying to create velocity off of that versus just sitting back and throwing off his regular leg.
Yeah, it's a really great point because I think both of you guys make because one thing begets another, right? When you start talking about injuries, the body is all connected.
Yep.
So if you're favoring something, then it puts extra pressure on something else. And how long can that handle the extra pressure? That can create a lot of issues for him. Amber, are you concerned?
Putting the physical part aside, and Dak is one of the most confident guys I have ever met. But you have to take into account the mental aspect of it. And you can't help it sometimes, hesitation, him being mindful of that and then creating that extra step in his mind and then throwing to the mix what Tyler Biadasz is dealing with. That's something else in the formula there that Dak has to kind of keep in mind, the little struggles that he has had at the center position. Then it just takes away maybe from his full focus of this thing, of the football, that it's actually now becoming something so natural to him. You don't see him just standing there in the pocket, really thinking things through. So it makes me wonder, although he's super confident, it makes me wonder, okay, is this going to really kind of slow him down mentally and what he's doing in the field before making a play, aside from, obviously, what these guys mentioned as far as the physical aspect?
And I think it changes the game plan as well because when he's healthy, right, Kellen can call anything he wants to call. But when he's not healthy, you have to now condense what you can call, right? Maybe we're not calling as many rollouts. The great thing is you get Lyle Collins back. I don't know how rusty he'll be, but now you maybe have a little bit more security and he doesn't have to kind of scramble that much in the pocket. But one of his biggest throws, if you watch in the last game, right, you got the DN coming up. What does he do? He pulls through, and now he has to break out to the right. Does he have that mobility to do that again? Because we're at a point in time of the season where there's so much film out there, and now teams can say, okay, here's what we want to do, here's what we can do. And, you're talking about how to stop this Cowboys offense. It's not really no way to really stop the Cowboys offense unless you can get to 4.
Yeah.
And if I know 4 is hampered, then you've been around long enough, Zimmer's coming. Like, he's not going to sit back and just say, oh, no, we'll just wait. That's not who he is. Like, Zimmer's going to come. And he's going to bring blitzes from every single where. And he's going to test Tyler Biadasz. He's going to test Lyle. You've been out for 5 weeks, Lyle. I'm going to test and see if you're ready to go. And, oh, by the way, I know what y'all said he was okay. I know y'all said he was all right. We're going to find out. We're going to find out just how okay he really is. And we're going to touch him up a little bit. And I wouldn't even – and this is not – I wouldn't say it's dirty, but it is said amongst teams. Hey, make them feel you. I ain't saying hit them late. I ain't saying be dirty. But every time you get close enough, put a little pad on them. Put a little shot on them. Let them know I'm near. I'm coming. I'm touching you. You're gonna feel my presence all day long. So it's one of those deals where it's whew, yeah.
All right, we're going to take our first break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about this offense. I actually want to talk about Dak, and I want to see where you guys place him among the other quarterbacks in the NFL this year, because there's a lot of good quarterback play happening. He's obviously among them. I want to see where you guys rank him in that top 5. Maybe you push him into that top 10. We'll do it when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at stetson.com/cowboys.
The Cowboys way. where 16 Hall of Famers and 5 championships shows us what success looks like, where turkey is always the second best part of Thanksgiving Day, where we are all defined by one single thing, the star, where we as fans know it's our job to keep the tradition going. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys and to support the quest of living life the Cowboys way. Copyright 2020, Bank of America Corporation.
Want to use what the pros use? How about the official men's skincare brand of the Dallas Cowboys, Jack Black? Right now, you can get the Jack Black Starter, a curated collection of Cowboys locker room favorites for just $10 with free shipping. The starter includes 4 Jack Black skincare favorites, plus a full-sized intense therapy lip balm. Go to getjackblack.com/Cowboys and use the code word TEAMJB. That's getjackblack.com/Cowboys. The Jack Black Starter, $10, free shipping.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit att.com for details.
Back to the break.
Welcome back. It is the second segment of the break live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. Got Isaiah, Jesse, Amber all with me. We're talking some Cowboys football. Let's talk about the quarterback position. And there's always this debate that happens around the NFL throughout every season of how do you rank quarterbacks around the league. There have been some really good quarterback play, and Dak has been right there among them. I'm going to throw out some names for you guys. These don't have to be yours, but I want you guys to kind of rank your top 5 for me. You got guys like Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, whose team is undefeated and he's playing really good football. Josh Allen, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Lots of good quarterbacks. How would you rank your top 5 and where would you put Dak? Start with you, Jesse.
Everybody don't go at for me, I'll say this. I got Dak at 3.
Okay, so who's 1 and 2?
So Dak is 3 for me. I got Kyler playing at 2. Until he's dethroned.
TB12.
I'm putting Tom at 1.
Okay.
Tom's at 1 to me, and maybe I'm just, I don't know. He's one of my NFL man crushes, but I got Aaron Rodgers at 4 and Lamar Jackson at 5. That's my 5 right there.
I might have to say ditto, man, as I'm going through.
Y'all wouldn't give because I actually was thinking you guys might give Lamar Jackson a little more love. No.
I think his ability, he makes plays, but I don't, in terms of everything that a quarterback is in my head, I don't think he's consistent enough in that regard, and he be acting childish. I don't like that. Sorry, but yeah, TB12 is much. I'll be real with you. I'm gonna switch it up a little bit. TB12 is my dog. You know that we both played with. Mm-hmm. Right now, Kyler Murray is number 1.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray is the most dominant quarterback in this league right now. Simply, not only just with his arm, and it's about to get better because he has a tight end coming in, right? Zach Ertz. But his throwing ability, and he'll destroy you with his legs if you even try him. I don't think that Dak presents that problem or that threat right now. Now, he'll torch you through the air right now, and he'll run when he has to, but Kyler can create with his legs. So for that reason, I give him number 1. Then I go TB12, and then I throw Dak in there, probably 3, and then you obviously got Pat Mahomes in there, number 4. Okay. So
yeah, it's interesting because Kyler Murray, like I assume you guys watched him back when he was in high school and how dominant he was in high school. Obviously, won a Heisman Trophy in college. Like, this is who this dude is, and it seems like now he's starting to figure out the NFL game. And so it should be very concerning to everybody in the NFL that's not an Arizona Cardinals fan that this dude is starting to figure it out.
Yeah, he's downloaded the cheat code.
Yeah, he knows how to win, and like you said, he presents that unique balance that I don't know that there's another quarterback in the league right now that is equally good in both those different areas, passing and running, as he is, and that are real game changers like he is with his legs and with his arm. Like, it's amazing.
That's the last quarterback I want to face.
Yeah.
If I was just a defensive coordinator coming into with the 33rd team ever in the NFL history, that's the last dude I want to face. You can't game plan him. What do you do to stop him?
Yeah.
You draft Micah Parsons.
You need a couple of those.
Good luck.
I mean, that's why
you're gonna get your chance.
I'm circling that. I've been circling that game. You know,
You will get your chance.
I am circling that game because that's going to be a heck of a matchup.
All right, so let's go back to the beginning of the season. Let's go through these first 6 weeks, and I'm going to start with you, Amber. Tell me, what do you think was the most impressive performance that the Cowboys have had? And let's remind you guys, they lost to Tampa Bay 31-29 to start the season. Then they go to Los Angeles, beat the Chargers 20-17. Dallas then beats Philadelphia, destroys Philadelphia 41-21. Then they beat Carolina at home 36-28. Then destroy the Giants 44-20, and then last 2 days ago, the game against the Patriots, they win 35-29. Which game was most impressive to you?
Well, week 1 was pretty impressive, I think, because of the opponent, obviously, and the way that they played. They were right up there battling back and forth. But I'm going to have to stick with this past weekend, them beating the Patriots, just because of how dirty the game was. You know, the mistakes that were made. Not just that. You got to add everything that happened with the refs and all the flags and everything that was kind of pushing against the Cowboys to not let it go their way. And the way they were able to fight back is just, to me, that was pretty impressive. That's something I've been wanting to see. So it was just, honestly, the most exciting game. And not the most enjoyable at times, but definitely I think the one that showed the most for them.
I would say last game. I would say the Patriots game, simply because it had everything, all the forms of adversity that you really have to overcome. You had to overcome the environment. You had to overcome the greatest coach of all time. You had to overcome being down. You had to overcome injuries. Right, you had to overcome turnovers. So everything that you had to overcome. Oh, and by the way, you weren't at full capacity because you have guys out still. So we're still not at 100%. Mm-hmm. So I feel like last week's game was probably the most impressive win to date, simply because our playmakers had to stand up. Not only did we had to game plan our way back into the game and stay in the game, we tried to cancel ourselves out with penalties, which were terrible penalties. They had to shore up. Guys stepped up and made plays. Your playmakers made plays. The guys that you pay out the wazoo to make sure that they do that. But then guess what? The guys behind them did it too. So everybody wanted in on that victory. So I think that was most impressive.
Yeah, it's going to be a clean sweep because I say the same thing. It was it's one of those games when you go back at the end of the year and you're kind of like just looking at how your season went. That was a defining moment for this football team. You go to a place where historically you just haven't been able to win up there. You haven't been able to win in Foxborough against that coach and that team, and you know what it's all. You knew it was going to be a tough game, and you found ways. The biggest thing for this team that we have not seen in such a long time, and Amber, you hit on it, was the ability to adapt and adjust. We talk about it all the time and we hear about it all the time, but we haven't seen it a lot with this football team in the years past. But you saw the adjustments. You saw the team continue the fight. You saw them overcome adversity. And for many times before, a team that we've seen will go into a game like this and fold like cheap lawn chairs, and would have been like, oh, we're going to just take this L and go and head home. But they kept fighting. Ty Nsekhe came in and held his own for a little bit. Ced Wilson with the probably outside of maybe CD's catch.
Amazing.
And probably had one of the best catches and might be the most important catch of the game on a 4th down. And for your quarterback to go on a 4th down and say, you know what? Yeah, I get it. He's the number 4 wide receiver. I'm throwing it to him. And hell of a throw and even hell of a catch because that ball had to be perfect.
Yeah.
Right? You're not going to CD who had a great game. You're not going
and by the way, it wasn't perfect. Like, Ced had to go up and get that one. That wasn't a perfect throw. Like, Ced made it.
A perfect throw saying because there was a DB that was sitting right there.
True.
Like, you know what I mean? It was perfect in the sense of getting it right over the height and Ced went up there and got it. So this game had a little bit of everything in it, man. And to walk out of there victorious is one that can carry the momentum for this team for weeks upon weeks upon weeks, because you can look back and say, hey, man, listen, we were down, we were out, the refs, away, the crowd was against us, everything was against us, but we battled through, we fought through, and we came out with a victory. And those type of things you look at and you say, this is how you win championships. This is how you put yourself in a position to win championships.
Yeah, the fact of the matter, if you watch the NFL, you know any team that's going to go deep in the playoffs has these kinds of games, and they win these kinds of games because that's the nature of the playoff. Like, that's going to be NFL playoff football.
Yes.
Like, when you're playing these good teams, you're going to have adversity. They're going to win some too, like you said before. They get paid too, and they're good teams too. So you're going to have to just weather the adversity. You're going to have to figure out a way to win. You keep chipping, and then when it gets down to the end of the game, you got to make a play. And I think there's a lot that was made about that game offensively and them driving down to get that. But you got to give some credit to the defense. Like, going right there into overtime, they made a stop. Yes. Like, they didn't allow them to get down, kick a field goal. There was none of that. They had to stop and force them to punt. That you put on the defense, because we always talk about this defense. Can you make the stops at the moments in the game when you need to make the stop? They did, and that allowed the opportunity for the offense to then go and win the ball game.
Like past years, how many times would we talk about how the defense would be already tired? Like, towards the second half of the game, it's like they were exhausted, and obviously that affects them. But now they can keep up, and obviously with the help that the offense is giving them, it's creating the perfect balance for them.
Well, I mean, that's created because you got guys that are secondary and third guys that are stepping up and making plays. So as a defensive coordinator, you can rotate them. You can rotate guys. The guys aren't having to be out there as long. They're not getting all those reps on them anymore. But to that point, we had guys that were some, Woody said it yesterday. We had some dogs. Randy Gregory, they should have had a holding call, and they didn't call it. So what did he do? Did he complain about it? No, he got pissed off and said, "Forget it. All right, I'll make the play."
Right.
All right. Since y'all ain't gonna call it, I'm gonna run through this dude's face. Right. And then you got Diggs coming up there and snatching that thing up. You got, I mentioned yesterday, Gifford. I don't know how he got through there.
Yeah.
But Gifford was like, "Hey, don't forget about me. Yeah. I'm about to make a play." So you got everybody coming off. Everybody's coming to the playground trying to make plays.
But that's what winning does.
Yeah.
Like, when your team is winning, you want in. Yep. However you can get in. Yep. Coach, special teams, all right, come on, I'm in. Because you want your name to be a part of something. You don't want to just, when you're losing, you just like, man, my check will be here on Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. But when you're winning and everybody's enthusiastic and you're looking around, you're saying, how can I be a part of this? Yep. How can I get a chance to get my name in the billing? And so this is I said this word wrong 2 weeks ago. This is a rejuvenated team, because guys want to be a part of winning. That's why everybody wants to come on hanging with the boys. You just want to be a part. No,
as you slide over to the break, everybody wants to. Right. All right, we're gonna take our final break. When we come back, we got more questions for these guys. I want to talk about a couple of the offensive players. We'll talk about defense tomorrow, but I want to talk about a couple of the offensive players who've been out and their return and what this means in their return. We'll talk about that when we come right back. This is DallasCowboys.com radio.
Hi, I'm Clint Tillison with United Ag and Turf. Before you can park yourself in front of the game, park yourself in a John Deere and power through your chores. Our Land Run package is a 1025R, 25 horsepower tractor with a loader, rotary cutter, and a box blade for $229 a month. And the price you see is the price you'll pay, no surprises. So don't miss another kickoff.
Visit UnitedAgAndTurf.com. Offer ends February 1st, 2021. Restrictions apply. See dealer for details.
Now let's get to work.
Honey, big news.
Gary, are you okay?
Oh, I'm not Gary anymore. I'm Jackie Flash.
What?
See, I want the latest smartphone, but the best deals are only for new customers. So, to get a new customer deal, I changed my name to Jackie Flash.
Okay, but the best smartphone deals at AT&T are for everyone, new and existing customers.
That's huge. Then guess who's getting a deal?
Is it Jackie Flash?
Jackie Flash.
It's not complicated. At AT&T, our best smartphone deals are for everyone. Restrictions apply. Visit AT&T.com for details.
New Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. You deserve it.
I do deserve that.
You deserve decadent flavor without sugar. And a day at the beach without sand getting everywhere. And a relaxing bath that your children don't interrupt.
I deserve all that?
It's really just a visual metaphor for Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. Everything you want, nothing you don't.
A visual metaphor on the radio. I do deserve that.
Dr. Pepper Zero Sugar. The zero you deserve is finally here.
Before there was a draft, you could size up a cowboy by 3 simple factors: the crease in his hat, the bend of his brim, and his unbending attitude. A man's Stetson didn't just protect him from what life threw at him, it projected a rugged, unstoppable spirit. Stetson hats are still American-made with pride right here in Texas. They're still the unofficial crown of all self-respecting cowboys, and Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find a retailer nearest you at Stetson.com/cowboys.
to the break.
Welcome back. Final segment of the break, live from the SWBC Mortgage Studios at the Star. We're talking about the offense, big picture about the offense. Tomorrow we'll get into some topics around the defense. But there have been two players I want to talk about who have been out on injury and presumably maybe coming, well, not injury actually for Lyle. It was a suspension. But both are projected to possibly be back after the bye. You've got Lyle Collins, right tackle, and you got wide receiver Michael Gallup. My question for you guys is, who will add more to the offense when they return? Because both of their replacements have played fairly well here in their absence. Who adds more when they come back?
Gallup.
Why?
What you have to respect the crap out of him when he's on the field. He is our deep threat. Yes, Cedric Wilson can run, but he's not feared by the opposing team, right? Maybe just because he hasn't had enough reps to be feared. He's fully capable, but Gallup is known. When Gallup's on the field, you better identify where the heck he's at. Otherwise, he's going to end up behind you and your safeties.
Doesn't that give Cedric an advantage, though?
Not if we're not utilizing him that way, right? Okay. So I mean, that's the thing, right? I mean, so it gives him advantage if you're going to go to him, but Gallup could draw. Yeah. I mean, now Gallup might very well come back and not get the ball, but guess who else is going to eat? Coop's going to eat. CD is going to eat. Yeah. Schultz is going to continue to eat.
Safety has to respect Gallup.
He has to respect him. And if you don't respect him, he's going to hit you over the head with the oopsie because Gallup and Dak have a great relationship, right? And they have chemistry. So I think Gallup comes back and has a great impact whenever he does decide or have opportunity to come back. Collins will come back, and he's the for sure thing, right? He's the thing that you don't have to worry about him. But his replacement has stepped up and not raised any concerns. Mm-hmm. So in terms of who will have the greatest impact, I have to go with Gallup.
I would agree with Gallup, but it's interesting. We were talking about it during the break, what happens when Lyle comes back. And it's one of those things that this offensive line has had so many struggles injury-wise, and then getting adjusted and adapted to different things. Last year we saw many switches, and then we finally got a guy that didn't have a great year last year, and then this year is stepping it up. And I'm like, I don't want to move. I don't want to touch it. And I know it's Lael. I know he's a guy that has proven himself as well. But then when something is working, why mess with it again? So I'm curious what is really going to happen here. And if one thing McCarthy has shown, and it was last year, he's not necessarily scared to be like, oh, well, he's the starter. He has to be there. We saw it happen last year. And I know a veteran guy has their power, and he's the guy that's supposed to go there, but McCarthy seems to not be afraid to do the what would you call that? Unconventional thing. So we'll see what happens there, but I'd definitely go with Michael Gallup as the biggest threat. But
to combat both of your points, because I'm going with Lyle Collins.
Okay,
you just said, right, and you said, well, if it's not broke, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Nothing wrong with this passing game. Dak is slinging that thing around the park. 7-8 guys a game get at least a catch or two. We ain't missed Michael Gallup. Ain't nothing that Michael Gallup has brought that we sit back and we go, dang, man, I sure wish we would have had a deep threat. Nope. If we didn't get a holding penalty, Say would have had a 50-yard bomb last game. Mm-hmm. The passing game has not fallen off, not one bit. Agreed. When it's been time to go to the passing game, easily. Oh, boop, 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 boop. How do you want it? Mm-hmm. Who wants it? Where it's going to go? So for me, it show up the offensive line. And I get it. Ty Steele has done a good job this year. He has earned himself some money because we all know it's hard to find offensive linemen in this league. And once you find a couple, you like to keep those bad boys. So now we know that he can play. We finally found our swing tackle. So if Tyron happened to have a little bit of lingering neck or elbow or shoulder or knee or ankle or whatever, cool. Terrence Steele is playing with a ton of confidence. Mm-hmm. He is familiar with the calls. He's familiar with the offensive line. And now we can shift him over to the left-hand side. But if I want to be a dominant offense, not just a dominant passing game, if I want to be a dominant offense, then I want the best players on my offensive line. Mm-hmm. And while Terrence has played a really good season, Lyle's a better player. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why Lyle was in that position before the suspension. Michael Gallup, we haven't missed a beat. Nobody has missed a beat. Dak still has the highest completion percentage in the National Football League, is third in touchdowns in the National Football League, is third in yards in the National Football League. So there's no need to go out there and mess with the receivers. They're all doing just fine.
But let me challenge you a little bit. And you guys both played in the league, so you know this. You've seen this. There's something about an NFL offense, especially good teams, about their ability to evolve as the season goes on. As the season goes on, they start showing more and more and more. So just when you think, let's say, for example, you just finished a New England game where you feel like maybe Belichick may have exposed some things, like this may be a way for you to kind of slow them down a bit. Now adding that new wrinkle of, oh, yeah, by the way, we got this guy that can go yard on you. Like, right, that's the part that may be missing a bit. They haven't done that a whole lot this year. We saw CD have the deep pass, what was that, last game? Not the last game, game before last. Yeah. But that has not been something that is tradition that has been in this offense a lot this year. It was in the offense a lot last year before Dak got hurt. Yep. So I'm interested to see, is this a moment where the offense can evolve even more and create even more of a problem for a team that's getting ready to play the Cowboys on how do we now handle this challenge? Now it becomes a situation, do we have to take away the running game? Do we have to take away the short to medium passing game, or do we have to really be concerned about the deep ball and giving up that 1 or 2 play drive that now turns into a touchdown? That's the part where I think Gallup can provide a big difference over what they have now because he allows the offense to evolve. Yeah. What do you think?
And that's what I think. I think Gallup presents more of a respect factor in terms of what the defense has to honor, right? No, I'm not disrespecting or disregarding what you're saying in terms of Collins. Collins is a better player than Steele. That's easily said. But there's a continuity aspect that goes with the offensive line, right? And when you've missed how many games? 5 games? Mm-hmm. When you miss 5 games, it's going to take a little bit to get rolling again. All right. Now, will he get there? Absolutely. Right. But do I see us all of a sudden becoming a more dominant running team because Collins is in there? No, because our issues have come from the interior line because we're undersized there with Connor Williams and Tyler Biadasz. We're undersized in the interior. We haven't had any issues running outside. I think that Gallup gives us the ability to score more and to be threatened more and do more offensively. Now, huge testament, everything that you just said in terms of Kellen Moore, his ability to make things happen even in the absence of Gallup. That's a great offensive coordinator. Make you feel like you're not missing a beat in that regard, but we are missing him in terms of our ability to go over the top. And we have not, to your point, we have not had that threat. All of our big plays, we had one, they ran man and CD got by him last week or the week before. But everything else has pretty much been over routes. Pretty much been over routes where we had our big plays. And that's cool, but we need a guy that can get that go juice.
Yeah, but that's been go look at the across the league. What has been the dominant route that people have? This new deep over situation is saying, okay, I'm going to clear out the top and I'm going to take one of my fastest guys,
run him across,
and it's going to run him across. And if I get the protection, if I got the offensive line to protect me, then I can just wait for him to go from this hash mark and looking good. I got from this hash mark to that sideline. My guy's faster than that safety or that DB who's on his hip, and I can just throw it out there for a big play. The vertical passing game, the Randy Moss put your hand up passing game, it's changed. You see more of the deep overs. You see more of a clear out. And then once you hit him on that one time with that clear out, now that safety bites down, and now you hit him over the top.
Right. And I think we're all agreeing with that. I think the point, though, is that just adds that extra dimension now.
But that's you got to protect it.
I get that, but that's
especially now when your quarterback has a bad calf.
I get that. Go there with I get that, but what I will say is, if you watch that game yesterday, there were a couple moments when things got a little weird, but there were a lot of moments, and Tony was talking about it on the game a lot. There were a lot of moments where Dak was just standing back there and had all day. Like there was a wall of protection. And so even with Steele, they're giving him time. He has time to get the ball out there. You get a guy like Gallup out on the outside now who can really go yard. I think that's where you have just that extra dimension. You're right. The crossing routes are always, in today's game, that's the preferred way to get the ball downfield quickly. But I think when you got that guy that can just go, I think that adds a whole different dimension to the offense. And right now, I just don't think they have.
Well, you know what? Not to say that Tyron Smith is going to be out or anything, but we already know that he's getting banged up. And
history says Tyron's going to miss 2 games.
Right.
History says that.
So with that being said, I feel more comfortable keeping Steele in the game just to keep the rhythm going and keep him doing what he's been doing. And just, I don't want to say wait.
Bench Collins?
What?
Are you saying to bench him?
No. Well, who?
Lyle.
I mean, he can warm up and
Hey, welcome to the break.
Stay ready. Stay ready, Lyle.
Welcome to the break. This is an Amber moment.
Sorry, Mr. All-Pro. Can you please just sit down over there for a minute?
You can warm up if you like.
We're talking about good chemistry. There's no hard feelings. It's okay. I know he really tried hard to get back on the field and get back from that suspension. But at the same time, I don't want to mess with Steele. Leave him there. I have a feeling. I'm not saying I obviously do not want him. Don't want this to happen. But if Tyron, for whatever reason, is not able to play, I'd rather, at that point, bring Lyle Collins back in, who is a guy who has the experience. He's a veteran. He can get back into things rather quickly than me mess with a guy that's, finally starting to find his groove. So that's how I see it, and I get it. He's a veteran guy and all, but
let's ask it this way.
No hard feelings.
Which position poses more of a threat of something going wrong by replacing the guys that currently are in position? If you by replacing Steele, if you replace Steele, is there a greater chance of Collins causing some issues up front?
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question.
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question, but there's risk. There's risk with replacing Steele right now.
I mean,
I agree with you on that.
You can put a receiver out there and he literally has no impact in the game. You just don't go to him, and it doesn't hurt you. It doesn't help you. Whatsoever.
Go ahead, add to my point.
No, I'm just it's not adding to your point.
I thought he was making your point for you.
No, but what I'm saying is that
I know what you're saying.
Lyle, anything can go wrong with the offensive line, right? It's like, here's the bad part. Like, offensive line and cornerback are the two positions on the field where you can do everything right for 99 snaps.
Yeah.
And on the 100th snap, you can be so dominant for 99, pancake blocks or pass breakups and your great coverage and all that. And then on the 100th snap, give up a sack. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you trash.
You lose your quarterback for the season.
You lose your quarterback for the season. Or you can give
point.
up, a pass behind your head and 4 touchdown, game's over. Now it's like, you're like, wait, I just locked him down for 99 plays. I gave up one. So those are the two spots where it's so much pressure on them for them to be so good all the time, because the one moment they aren't can be.
So to that point, are you secure? Now, this is no knock on Collins. This is anybody on the offensive line. With your offensive tackle, your right tackle, right, coming out and missing 6 weeks. He's going to be 6 weeks rusty. This isn't him coming through camp and then coming and playing against Tampa Bay Buccaneers and he's fresh and he's been playing. This is 6 weeks of not practicing. Correct?
And by the way, remember, offensive line is the area where we always hear it. It's about continuity.
Yeah.
As much as it is about any individual and their abilities, it's about how are they working as a unit. So if you got a unit that's working pretty well together, do you really want to disrupt that?
Remind me again, how much work do you actually get to do when you're suspended? You're not allowed to
work out with the trainers. That's
he was able to be in the building, but he was not able to practice.
Yeah, he hasn't practiced at all for 6 weeks. After this week, it will be 6 weeks.
Yeah, give me the best player. That's just me.
I hear you.
That's just me.
And honestly, I don't think you got a wrong answer.
No wrong answer.
I don't think you got a wrong
where your
answer.
Comfort level is.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I think when Monday gets here, whenever they get back to practice, whatever, for the Minnesota game,
run them on some gassers.
No, you're in all the time, buddy. Like you can't be tired. You just have 5 weeks off. Let's go. Let's go. And I even here's a moment in time. Hey, Tyree, rest the ankle.
Steele, get over there.
Let's go.
No, for sure.
So I'm just saying, Lyle will get every single rep in practice.
Yeah.
Like don't think about
facts.
When we're doing a water break, go get a rep.
Facts.
Like every single rep you'll get in practice. But then at the end of the week, I'll know, we're gonna go with Steele this game. Give you another week. Yep. But you're gonna get every rep starting on that Monday preparation for Minnesota.
That will happen.
Yeah.
All right, that's a
They
wrap.
could race for it.
What'd you say?
Race?
Here you go.
Lyle might win.
We don't know. He wasn't talking about him. He was talking about me and you.
Oh, well.
I was talking about them, but that's funny.
All right, that's a wrap, man. We'll be back tomorrow. We got lots to talk about tomorrow. We're going to flip over to the defensive side. There's so many storylines around this team on the defensive side, but we'll do that tomorrow. Till then, for Isaiah Stanback, Jesse Holly, Amber Garcia, I am Derek Eagleton. This has been The Break, live on DallasCowboys.com radio.
Let's go.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!